Okay, Mike, you ready for this? I've been talking about this for years now, about CREE lighting. We finally have it. So I ordered this 6 months ago, something like that, and what I'm hoping to do is to stock this stuff. And so it's actually really quite simple. So these are CREE LS, or linear fixtures. So we have a 4 foot, 8 foot in this garage right now. Obviously the lights aren't in here, but in this garage we're going to do 5,000 Kelvin, 90 CRI, 8 foot and 4 foot versions of the fixtures. So in here we're planning to do 18 8 footers and 4 4 footers, possibly 5.
Yeah, if we can fit another one here.
And then we're going to do 3 separate zones of light. We're going to control it with Lutron Vive and then eventually a Vive hub. So the whole building will be under Vive hub, which basically allows you to wirelessly connect to your phone and control the lighting. The cool thing about Vive is although Vive is going to have a wireless connection to the little Picos we'll be showing you, the little Pico on-off thingies. Oh, Vive doesn't need Wi-Fi.
Right.
Where Radio Raw and Caseta, if your Wi-Fi went out,
it doesn't. You can't turn lights.
So Vive is a commercial version. Vive is what we need to do. The little control modules, the PAL packs will show you those. Those are needed in order to connect to our wireless switches, as well as to our wireless hub. So the lights look like this. It's almost kind of a little bit of a letdown, isn't it? Seems so simple.
Because once it gets married with this, it looks a little more substantial. But there's the base.
So this is the base driver, right?
Yeah,
so these come. So when you buy a light fixture, so this is a 4 foot light fixture. This is where's the box?
It's that one.
Yeah. So this is model number. The frickin' box.
Right there.
So these are model number. We're going to carry all this stuff from Seth's garage. I want to say these are like $160 or something like that a piece, but these are real true 90 plus CRI lights. So you can order these in 80 CRI or 90. And so this is a 4 foot, and so this is a LS. So LS is the model. LE. I'm not sure what the LE means. 4. I think the LE means that it's the actual because it's HS for the base, and it's LE for the light section. Light engine, I think, is what LE stands for. And then 4 for 4 feet. This is a 6,000 lumen. It comes in either 4 or 6,000 lumen version. And then 950. So the 9 means that it's a 90 CRI. If it were an 8, it'd be an 80 CRI. 950, so the 50 is for 5,000 Kelvin. And then -R.
Which is
R for round.
Rounded
so
lens.
we have a rounded diffuser, rounded lens for these. And then, so you can get them in square or round. So it's LS-LE-4-60L-950-R. Good luck Googling that. This is what I plan on changing. You're going to find anything. You're going to find these anywhere.
There will be something after you're done.
Right. So we're planning on stocking these, but I wanted to be the test dummy before I went too narrow and deep.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. We did it. We tested one yesterday. It's pretty bright.
Yeah. So the only disadvantage, these won't go up to 6,500K. These are not color shiftable, so we have to choose. So we'll show you. We're going to do a building inside of the Yarn office. We'll be doing 4K, and those will be slightly different. We have some 8,000 lumen, some 12,000 lumen fixtures. And so we're doing this in 4 feet and 8 feet. The 8 foot fixtures are 12,000 lumens.
And that's half of it. Yeah, it's going to be bright.
It's going to be pretty nasty in here. Yeah. So that's why we have a dimmer and we have different zones so we can control the light.
Yeah, we should talk about the controller. That's not really. We ordered ones that'll handle multiple fixtures.
Yeah.
But we have those are coming.
So we're going to hang these. Let's finish the fixtures and then we'll get into the control. So we're going to hang these with, this is the Lutron, or not Lutron, this is the CREE, I guess these are wire systems. So you can hang these from jack chain. There's several different versions. I think this is the one we're going to stock. I think this is the way to go.
Yeah.
So you can either surface mount them. Are these set up for surface mount?
You can, sure. You can. The basers are pre-drilled for surface mount. They got keyholes in them.
Gotcha.
So you can
surface mount. You can chain hang, or you can
use the wire.
Hang, right?
So the nice thing about these are these little dudes here. So these come in through this way, and they're actually a knockout for them. So I'll show you how this works. These come through this way.
Make sure we're
like that, and then this nut goes on, like so.
So that makes it super easy to hang. You're not like trying to hang
so that's
from
like that, and then this wire goes through the top.
just one way.
And it's one way. And so you can adjust the height by just literally pulling through, and then it stays put. But it has a release, which is handy. Push that little button down, and you can pull the wire right back out.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's really slick.
See, this is when we're getting into like real.
This is real.
This stuff is hoarded for lighting designers,
Sure.
and so this is why it's been so hard to chase.
Yep.
I mean, these are sold by like lighting architects and light design.
Yep.
And in the commercial area.
Right.
So these are designed for
This is commercial
applications.
use, absolutely.
Because these are controlled not by a normal dimmer, not a forward phase dimmer. This is a 0 to 10 volt dimmer.
Yep.
And so we need a 0 to 10 volt control system. So the light's pretty simple. We're going to mount the ballast base, and then once that's done, you snap this in place.
Right.
And once that's done, you snap in your diffuser.
And the beauty about these too, see these hold they come off of the base, so you can hang the actual light
you need
from
to service the ballast.
So if you got to service anything, or when you're installing, you clip them on here, and then it frees up a hand.
So then our lighting control, let me pull these over here. I'll show you what we're going to do. So this is the Vive hub. We'll get into this. We won't get into this in this video. This will be a separate video. We'll get into this. So this is the hub that we'll use to control the whole building, which is kind of unnecessary, but we're going to do this. I think this is like $12 or $1,500, something like that.
But that's so you can control everything off your phone, even
Correct.
from home.
Which I don't really care all that much about. But we're going to do it just to try it out. So that's the Vive hub. And so this really comes down to just a couple of things. So you got your wall plates. We've got our Picos. So these are our little controllers. So these have a 10-year battery. And basically we'll show you how to program. But you hold the button down on the PAL pack, you hold the button down on this, and then it syncs, and then you have control. So in here we're going to have 6 switches. So I guess we'd have two-way switches. They call them two-way or three-way?
Three-way.
So we're going to have a two-way switch for each zone of light. So we're going to do 3 zones, one down the middle, one down the right side, one down the left side, and then we want them on each door. So we want it on each entrance, because it's annoying when you just want to close the building off from here. So we're going to have switches on either location. Now there's no wire. We don't need a wire to come to this.
And there's an actual there's a plate if you look in there, there's an adapter plate that you can mount this to the wall if you don't already have a switch plate.
So a couple of ways you can do this. So you can screw this right in with a drywall anchor right into the wall, or
cover your existing
hole. Right. Right. And so this is the Lutron wall bracket plate. And so this plate, this little plastic thing, will screw in.
And then the Pico screws to that.
And the Pico snaps. It will snap right in.
Yep.
So we'll show you how all this works. Super, super awesome, super simple. I don't know why this stuff is hoarded. And then our controller here, now this isn't the one we're using for this room. This is going to be for our smaller applications.
Right. This allows 3
this is the FCJS. We're doing the RM FCJS, which is will run up to 8 drivers. This will only run 3, but the concept is the same. So at the end of 2 of our runs here, we're going to have this PAL pack. And so our electric connection, we'll show you how this works, but essentially this becomes inline.
It's a relay, basically. It switches on and off between the hots.
So power comes from our electric panel electric or sub panel, and we wire nut to this puppy, and this will go inside the light.
Right.
And then we just decide, how many lights we're going to wire together.
Yep.
So that's the question. Does the 0 to 10 volt? So we go into one side of this. Do these daisy chain?
Well, yeah, they will.
Does the 0 to 10 volt daisy chain, or do we have to run like Cat 5 wire?
I think you got to run through it. Yeah, I'll have to read it, but I would imagine you would, because that just leads to the first driver. And this is the plus or minus 10 volt output right here.
Correct.
And that goes to this one, which comes right to this driver.
And ends. Right. It would be nice if they daisy chained the.
Well, here you got. I think these are push connectors, so I think this is where you add in, right here. So it's just wire. So these are push connect fitting or devices. So I believe we can push another wire in there and continue on through.
Gotcha. So we need a couple of rolls. So instead of using Cat 6, we'll just
use wire.
Yeah.
And might as well stick with gray and violet so it matches.
Yeah. So that's the story. So all our 8-foot fixtures are over there. 4-foot fixtures are here. And we're going to start with this row. We're going to run a single row symmetrically between our duct and the wall. And then we're going to run a half row on this section. So we'll have 1.5 rows on the main section of the garage. And then I chose to do the rounded fixtures for in here. And then we're doing square in the office area. And that'll be, again, a separate video after we get through this and figure this out.
Those were the 8-foots are 12,000 lumen, right?
Correct.
So just with the 8-footers, we're going to have 216,000 lumens in this building, plus another, 5 times 6, so 246,000 lumens in here.
Yeah, we might be running a dimmer.
I think we'll be able to see all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've done it before. I did too much light and it hurt my eyes.
Well, that's what dimmer's for.
Yeah.
You can dial it, and we can dial in. You can dim each zone. You don't have to dim the whole kit and caboodle. You can just dim part of it.
All right, let's get started.
I'm going to tie in. So I found that power had been abandoned. That was some temporary lighting that previous electrician had kind of janked up. So I found the circuit that's in the main sub panel. I got that hooked up. Now we have power here. So I'm going to take that 4-square box, mount it to the wall, and then I'm going to come off that with that same VX cable or MC cable and come up to another junction box, and that'll be our hot for this area. And then we've already got power to these lights, so I'll tie into this circuit for the other
So how many lights can we put on a circuit? They're drawing
7. So they're drawing basically 0.8 of an amp per 8-foot, 12,000 lumen fixture.
Really? Did you look at the 8-foot or is that the 4-foot?
The 4-footer's half that.
Okay.
The 8-footer draws 0.77 amps, so roughly.
So we're on a commercial 20 amp circuit.
Yeah. So we
can run what, 75%? So we can run up to 15 amps.
You could run a little more than 75%. You could run 80%.
So we're good for. So if we have 2 circuits here.
Good for 10 fixtures, and we're only going to be putting 18. We have 2 circuits, so we'll be fine.
I don't know, way more than that. If it's 7/10.
7 point. It's 8/10. 8/10, but yeah. So 10 fixtures would be 8 amps.
So we could run all 20 of these fixtures on one circuit if we wanted to.
Theoretically, yeah.
As long as it's dedicated light.
Now remember, the controller only allows 8 amps of draw, so we can only run 10 fixtures off one controller. That's the only thing. I don't think we're going to be, because we were.
And it can only run 8 ballast anyway. So.
Well, no, it can run more than 8 ballast. They on the bigger one, I think they went by by current draw, which was 8 amps max.
Right.
So theoretically, you could draw 10 fixtures, would be 7.77 amps. Don't look in there. It's a little dirty. Work's been happening here. I'll clean it one day. What I'm doing for the first row of lights, we decided we're going to center it between the edge of the ductwork and the wall. So what I'm doing is measuring off this wall to get the line, make sure the line's parallel with the wall. Make it basically, we want 38.5 or 77 inches from edge to wall, from edge of duct to wall. So I'm going to split that, so that's 38.5 inches. So right now I'm just making sure I have a parallel line. Right there I'm at 38 3/8. And 38 3/4. And for all intents and purposes, it's close enough, but we're obsessed, so we're going to make it perfect. All right, 38.5 on the money. Ooh, of course. Swing just a hair. Then I'll go up there and I'll leave the laser right where it is, and I'll go up and pre-drill where each purlin is, and that'll be our point to hang. We decided we're going to hang the fixtures from the wire instead. So we're going to do that rather than hang them or bolt them right to the purlins. We're going to suspend them so they'll be level. So yeah. So what we're talking about is how we're going to mount these to the purlin. So there's a loop on this end. That's the end that gets mounted. So what I'll do is use a screw and a washer over the loop, and that's what it'll hang from. I could actually hang them from the side too, of the purlin, rather than bolting directly through the top. I assure you, this is an OSHA approved method of getting on the scaffold here. taking safety courses, Mike. Yeah, there we go. See, look at that. So, there we are, right there. So what we're doing is, so this is the closest to the wall, right? That's going to be the first cable, right? Or I should take that back. This is the furthest from the wall. This will be this way, pointing the front of the building. So this cable here, then another one at 57 inches apart. This will cantilever over that way, and the wall's 14 inches away. It should be right here, and we should be left with 14 inches when we make our run all the way across. We should have 14 inches on that side too. Maddie's screwing in some plates here. I need to watch how this is done. No, what I'm doing here. Is that the bit you use, Matt?
I don't have what I need.
You don't like the magnetic ones?
Well, I don't think I have it.
Yeah, you do. They're in that cabinet. You're fully prepared and you don't even realize it.
This is a 1/4 inch, though. I don't think I have the 1/4 inch over there.
You do.
I think I have 3/8.
You do. I bought it.
Oh.
And I put it in your kit. I sprung for that out of my own pocket, Matt.
What I got is gonna work.
Huh? Okay.
I'm
put it in
very
right.
motivated right now. Poured out all my energy into the last video.
That was a lot, huh? So these are going in now. So I've got them laid out where they're gonna go.
These are the threaded.
These are these, yeah. You see that? So the wire goes in this way. So these come up through. I may have to, I don't know what on the other side of this, so I may have to cheat this over slightly. Now that's a clip. So I'm gonna have to cheat this hole over just a bit. I think we're gonna go 6.5 inches. So all right, so what I had to do is move this over 1/2 inch because of the clip, and then what we'll make sure is there's nothing on the back side to interfere with the cable. For instance, you got the drivers right there, right? So you wouldn't want to have a cable there, otherwise you either have to move the driver, which you can do, or if this clip is here, you'd have to account for that. So we're good. We don't have anything in the way. So go ahead and drill these. Perfect. All right, and we'll get a little wrench, tighten those.
Can you just leave my hand tight?
We're gonna go tight.
I do have a lot of bass in here.
That's what I'm worried about.
The bass.
Bumping.
Starting to get my apprentice.
Your
assistant juice
number
is
one
back.
assistant juice is flowing.
Yeah. I've been doing too much computer work lately. And too much computing. Not enough here. Take this thing. That's pretty darn sweet.
All right, so we'll go just so we don't interfere with these.
Yeah, well, so that should be the low spot right there. That's the shortest part of the ceiling, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we come up to this one.
So we're going to go as high as we can without hitting anything, and then this will be our point. So we can go up just a hair more here. And when we're all done, because I'm going to get all the bases mounted first.
Yeah.
We can come back and adjust perfectly, and then we'll clip everything. Then I'll get everything wired in, then we'll clip everything.
Well, yeah, you got to do all the bases because you got to run wires through them.
Exactly.
After your 7th trip to Home Depot.
Nope. That's perfect. Now let's see if these cutters will clip this wire. Like butter.
See?
Look at that. Like butter, Mike. Like butter. You're right.
No problem.
Sonic, baby.
No problem.
No problem. You can get these at the Obsessed Garage store. So that's one. One down and 18 plus 5, 23 to go. -1. 22 to go. So basically same process, 23 more times. We'll get back to you. This bank of fixtures or bases all mounted, including the other 2 8-footers in front of the bench, or over the bench, I should say. So next part of the process is getting everything wired up. So this is the controller here. There's the antenna for it. So we've got power coming in here, this box here running over. And then what happens is the controller is basically a built-in relay. I've got a built-in relay, so it not only dims, but it turns on and off the lights. So you've got your hot feeding it, and then you've got a switched hot coming out of it, which is this red wire. That feeds all the drivers all the way down the line. So what I've got to do next is I've got to tie every fixture together, including the dimming wires, which are this purple and gray wire. So all this has to get strung together so that all the dimmers and drivers work in unison. So that's what I'm going to do now.
All right, Mike. Drop some knowledge on me here.
All right. So show everybody how these get wired in.
Yeah, it doesn't do us any good to sell these. We're going
Right.
to teach them how to do
Exactly.
it. You're going to see a lot of this stuff because we'll be doing these in
Right.
every darn garage that we do for the next 10 years.
Exactly.
These are it. This is what I've been chasing forever.
Yeah. No, they're great, and it's pretty elementary. The wiring, not complicated at all. So you shouldn't be intimidated with it at all. So this is the base unit, right? So you'll mount these first on the ceiling, whether you're mounting them on trusses or on drywall, doesn't matter. Just fix this on the ceiling.
And the base unit is dependent on the LEDs. So
The LED is dependent on this. Yes.
Correct.
They can't go fire the fixture off without the base unit.
and you need the correct base unit. So
Correct,
if
right.
you have a 6,000 lumen for
You have to have a base that's 6,000 lumen to match. Otherwise, the output of the driver will not be enough for the light.
Right.
You can overdrive it, but not under. So if you used a 4,000 lumen ballast or driver on a 6,000 lumen fixture, it wouldn't work. Not for long.
Yeah.
So what you have is in this case, you have a purple and a gray. These are your 0 to 10 volt supply. So what this does is the Lutron controller, this controller, I see a purple and a gray here, this supplies a 0 to 10 volt to the driver, and that's your dimming circuit. So there are two different types of these. This is a higher current type. We have another one, which is I don't know the model number off the top of my head, but this is
this is the RMJS,
Right.
and then the FCS.
right, is a lower current unit.
Yes.
Right. So these can be mounted one of two ways. You can mount them on a 4 square box, like a metal box, and it's got a 1/2 inch hub on it that you would mount on a 1/2 inch KO, or you can mount it directly onto the fixture. So they give you lots of different choices. You can mount it right at the end, right in one of these KOs. In fact, I'll do that, show you how that looks. So picture this being mounted on the ceiling already.
Now, what you could do, if you wanted to, you could put all your PAL packs in one home run.
You absolutely could.
And
Yeah.
you could run a home run line from
That's
each
right.
zone, if you will. But we need
Right.
a PAL pack per zone,
right.
or we need a PAL. This is a PAL pack per 8 amps.
Yes. So
We're just using it per zone because we're under the 8 amps.
Right.
For each one of our banks in the
Right,
garage
right.
here. So we're gonna have 3 of these.
we will have 3. Yeah.
But what you could do, you could set one Pico or one remote, and you could program that one remote to multiple PAL packs.
Right.
Like if you wanted this entire garage on one zone or one
do that.
switch,
You could absolutely
you
do
could
that. Yep.
do multiple of these on one switch.
So that's basically how it would look from the ceiling. If you're looking up at it, that's how it would look. And then you have an antenna wire, which I'm not so sure you have to unclip it out of this, but you can. So the antenna wire, depending on the range, how far you're going, but that's the antenna wire there. Okay. And then you've got your 0 to 10 volt output here. That needs to make its way back into the fixture to mount to these 2 wires here. So you can actually mount it, if you're going to mount this on a box, you could run this through the 4 square box and come through. There's usually some small holes on the 4 square box that you could run through and plug right into those quick connect fittings. So then what you have out of this thing is you've got your 120 volt line side. This is where your incoming 120 volt goes into, and your neutral. And then you got out of it, you've got your load side, which is this is going to power the fixture. So this is basically a switch, a remote controlled switch. Just think of it as that. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the wires that come out of the driver, out of the, people call them ballast, but they're actually a driver. You're going to take that and you're going to mount these two together, or screw these two together. So that becomes your hot to the light.
Now, if you're doing this on the ceiling in your garage, again, you're going to want to put this in the attic. Like
I would,
mine
yeah.
are in my attic.
Yeah, I would put them in an inconspicuous place. Here in this commercial setting, we did it.
But
where
you
can see
could
'em.
daisy chain them, or you could home run them. So you could bring, this would be clunky, but you could bring each light back to a box. So, it wouldn't even have to be a box, but then you can screw them, you can tie them together, and then come out. That's how we did it at my house.
Right.
But here, we're putting them on the ceiling. It makes
More sense to do it that way. So there's your neutral and your hot out of the power pack.
But what is the power from the breakers coming in?
Into it can come into the fixture. You can put it anywhere you want, any one of these 1/2-inch KOs, right? And you're gonna basically it's gonna loop through the power pack. So this is gonna be coming from your breaker.
The black is going to the black on your Romex.
Yes. And then the neutrals will all get tied together.
Okay.
So you'll have a neutral. Let's just pretend this is your incoming power, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll take neutral, take a ground. So let's just say, for all intents and purposes, this is your incoming power. Now, obviously, this isn't how you would wire it through this like this, but so now you've got your neutral coming in. Let's pretend this is your Romex. You're going to ground this. Here's the ground to the base unit, the chassis, right, of the light. That gets tied together. Then you get your neutral that's coming from the light as well as from the power pack. That all gets tied together here. And then your hot wire coming from your breaker or your Romex goes to the black here. So there's your what's called the line side, and this is the load side. Line side's coming from your Romex, gets tied into the black. The load side, which goes to the light, comes out of the red and goes into the black, going to here.
This is your on-off switch, basically.
Yep, it's basically just an on-off switch.
And our remote switch is sending radio frequency
to that
to do.
And it's closing the switch here. It's just
but on-off does not dim.
No,
Dimming
goes
done
through the
0 to 10 volt.
Yep.
It's a different circuit, if you will. So you have a dimming circuit and you have the hot circuit.
That's right. So what I'm doing here, I couldn't get a violet with the supply chain the way things are. So I couldn't get purple and gray like what comes out of here. So what I did is I went and got blue and yellow. So I tied my blue to my purple and my yellow to my gray, and I'm running that through each light. So that dimming, remember, the dimmer has to be tied to every single one of these drivers. So if you do multiple fixtures, you've got to tie all of them together, so that, because it won't just, if you just dim the first light thinking that it's going to take care of the rest, it doesn't work that way. Every single dimming circuit, they all have to get tied together just like the power does.
So you cut a short little whip, like a tiny little piece, to go from the output of this.
Yep, into the fixture. And then it ties to this first set, right? Mm-hmm. The gray and the purple. And then if I'm having another light that mounts to the end, it goes to the end of this, I'm going to run another set of wires through here and tie them all in. And then if the next light and so on and so forth, every single one gets tied in with the purple and the gray. So they just get daisy chained together just like the power does.
So you're running green, black, white,
and
blue, and yellow.
Correct.
That's why we were cutting off at an 8-foot or 9-foot piece of.
Yep.
All right, and then how does the LED?
Okay,
how does the LED part connect?
Let's assume you have everything wired up, right? Like we kind of have it mocked up a little bit here. So everything's tied in. All this stuff tucked in here. So let's assume all your wiring's done. Okay, bases are all in. Then comes the actual LED light. Comes the lens already mounted on it. So you can unsnap the lens. Let's show you what it looks like inside.
Each light comes with 2 of these.
Right.
Not only one in there. Is there two in there?
There are probably two. It's probably just in the box.
So if you were doing just this fixture in your garage,
Right,
you would take
two
the
white end
translucent ends and you put the end caps.
Correct. This is going from fixture to fixture. You would use the translucent ends.
Yeah.
If you're going one single fixture, you'd want a white end cap. Otherwise, you get light poking out the side.
It's funny. This is basically those rope LED strips.
So there's what it looks like
A little
inside.
more output.
Yeah, a little higher tech. So this is the heat sink here, the strip they're mounted on. So anyway, so you got this. This comes like this. You've got a ground that you have to hook up, and then there's your incoming to the LED from the driver. So, and then they've got these little wire hangers that's inside the base. So imagine this is hanging from your ceiling. You know, it's kind of tough to be holding this up and getting all the wiring done and everything else. So what they do is they give you these. So this just clips onto here, like so. I'll show you. Okay, so now it's hanging. So imagine this is hanging from your ceiling. Now the light is actually hanging from the base. Then you take your plug here. Maybe you can hold that for me, Matt. So this is out of your driver. This just plugs in like this.
So that's a push to.
That's a push, just a push.
Molex Lego.
Yeah, exactly. And then this ground comes with a little quick push to connect. So you would connect that.
Yeah.
And then this just snaps in.
So there's on this there's 4 points.
Yep. And you'll hear it actually click in. There it went. And let's see. There it is. And that's it.
And then you would put your
lens on, which we can do real quick. It's pretty easy. And then you can, if you put this on, you can actually take them back off. There's a tab in here, a release tab. You can use a small screwdriver. Push in on that, push it on that side, and it'll drop free. Yeah, don't have your ground hanging out. We didn't hook it up because we don't want to hook it up yet. Anyway, so this just snaps back in.
You want to be careful with these because they're, especially on the 8-footers, the 4-footers are fine. But you saw it snap that one in half.
Yeah. So there's kind of what finish would look like. Now, like Matt said, you hide this. I mean, you could have it out, but if you really wanted to make it clean.
I mean, if you have a 9-foot ceiling, you don't want a green box
sticking on your face. And you can put it, I think you can put this in a 4-square box, an electrical box, or a 4 and 11/16 box, an oversized box, and probably just poke the antenna out. I don't see any reason why this couldn't be in an electrical, in a J box somewhere. Now, Lutron does say, for whatever reason, we haven't researched this yet, but if you want to put it in the box, they say call them. So maybe they're going to tell you what size to put it in, or maybe there's some stipulation, I don't know why, but we'd have to find out.
It makes me want to know now.
Yeah, it makes me want to know too, why.
We'll ask them when they come here to train.
Yeah, there you go.
But again, the greatest part about Vive is RF with Wi-Fi capability, but it doesn't need Wi-Fi like the other Lutron systems, like Radio Raw and Caseta.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing. Like, it's so daunting when you think that these like 16-digit model numbers, and like when I saw the spreadsheet of all the things that Chris from the lighting, the lighting manufacturer came here and said, "This is what you're going to need," and I'm like, it made no sense. And then now when we're using it, it's so easy.
Simple. It's simple. It really is elementary.
We're going to make it super easy for people.
Yeah, anybody could do this. I mean, if you have some basic electrical knowledge, you're not scared of it, you turn the breaker off, make sure you're working on a dead circuit, anybody could do this. We show them how it's easy.
Yep.
It really is. But if you're suspending them from the cable system like we are, this is the splice plate. So this helps join them together and make them more rigid. Because it's difficult to do it. Just cables, having 2 fixtures hang by cables without splicing together. They all hang all wonky. So these get mounted from the backside. It actually comes with small self-drilling screws, and there is a direction. So there's a single KO on one end and 2 KOs on the other, and that's how this is set up. So this has got the single KO, so that lines up with that KO there, and then you got 2 screw holes here, and the self-drillers go right through there, and that splices them together. And then what I've been doing is mounting one on a fixture, then going up and hanging it like on top of the fixture that's already there, mounting my cable to suspend that side, and then running 2 screws in it. Makes everything nice and rigid.
So that cable is a CREE supply.
It is.
They don't make it, but it's a CREE supplied cable system.
Yeah, it's great.
So we're going to have that too.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Much better than hanging with chains. So much cleaner, quicker. Yeah. So that's it.
I'm going to show you 100 different times and different
Yeah.
garages
Yep.
and from different angles and
Yep.
different types of fixtures. Now, this is an LS fixture. This is a linear LS. They actually make a spec linear, which is like a really high end, like the actual. I'm sure that the driver and the LEDs are probably the same thing or very close, but they have a really like amazing like aluminum enclosure.
Yeah.
The other thing about spec linear is you can buy them in 45, so you could like make a continuous
Oh, that'd be cool.
rectangle or square.
Or hex, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Hex lights.
Hex lights are amazing, right? Everybody says so.
Yeah, this is the real deal.
These are nice, and the light in here is amazing.
It's just comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It really is. It's
There's
great.
something about high color rendering, high quality color rendering makes everything look so
Yep.
much more accurate.
It's just pleasant. It's so pleasant to be in here right now. Wish someone would install some lights here, so it wouldn't be so dark.
All right. Well, what are we doing, Mike?
We're hanging out in front of the air conditioning. This section actually taking me the longest. I don't know why. It just happens to be right in front of this. Yeah. Anyway, so what I've had to do since we're tying these two runs together, I had to put a junction box on top of this fixture and on top of this fixture and tie it together with some EMT. Run our wiring. So we have our power wire and our 0 to 10 volt through here. That'll run tie into this part of the fixture in here. And that loops through and ties into this fixture, so that way they'll all be on the same controller. So that's just want to show that little detail. There's several ways you could do it, but rather than use like just MC cable from side to side, because I have to run the low voltage wire and I don't want to run it outside and zip tie it to it. That's kind of janky. So I just opted to run some EMTs, a couple of boxes to make it look clean.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I can do some stuff now. Should we skip the extra row? How's it over here?
Off layout.
It's pretty, no, because it's kind of shadowy over here. Yeah, we're rolling it. This is what I'm good at, Mike. I'm good at the programming on the floor. Programming on the ground. No, I do not. I'm gonna stay right here on the ground where I belong. Stable and yeah, very safe. Even that, it's dicey for me sometimes. So what's in that box up there? It's like a big jumble of.
This is a lot going on in here. So this is distributing. It's power coming in, incoming's coming here.
Yeah.
It's going to this row, and it's feeding into this switch and back out and over here. So this controller is basically feeding power through the conduit. But anyway, it's power coming in, power going out to both lights plus dimming circuits.
And then the 0 to 10 volt is going
Through here also, to this bank and to here.
Got it.
So everything's in this box.
So now hold me a 6-second deal.
All right, it's the center one, right?
Yep. Hold the button for 6. I got two new
1
Picos.
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000. Okay, it's flashing.
All right.
Now it's flashing fast.
Yeah. There's one.
Now it's flashing so again.
So you wait for that little thing to start flashing.
Now it's flashing
quickly.
fast. Now I hit it again, don't
Okay,
I?
now hold it down just hold it down. It'll
Until it
blink
goes solid, right?
Yeah, it'll blink. You got dimming, Mike. And Mike. Mike's. Yeah, I think we'd roll it. I think the center button is the memory button where we can set it to like the dim we want.
And it automatically comes to that.
Yeah.
when we turn on. Yeah.
It's gonna take us a while. We're so used to being.
In no light.
Yeah. Let's see all the fingerprints on the walls and schmutz everywhere.
All right, so we just finished up the second zone, which is these two banks here. So what I've got left to do just to tidy this up is we have some old MC cable that was up there for the old lighting. I'm going to take that down, tidy that all up, and then work on the last zone, which is going to be one strip going across. Matt's going to bring his M3 in here and start ripping some PPF off. Huh? Yeah, rubbing on it. Hey, he's going to get some diapers, some detail spray. Huh? Did you wear your New Balances today? No.
Install some scratches.
Yeah, install some scratches. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to get this side done, and then we'll call this project done. Good position. Yeah, I gotta stretch too. Hang on. So lighting's all done. Last thing to do, the Pico remotes are already all programmed to each zone, so we're gonna mount them where the normal switch would be. This is going to end up being wired together. The switch will be eliminated, and then this will go in its place. So this is a Lutron cover plate, and then these are the wall adapters for that the Picos mount into. So I'm going to show you how we do that. It's pretty simple. Main thing is just want to get it nice and level. So
if you didn't have a switch, like if you were wiring your house from scratch, you technically don't even need a box. Right? You can just screw this in a wall wherever you want.
You could, absolutely.
Like in the yarn area, the office, we're going to relocate some of these because some of the switches are in weird spots. We're going to cover up that box. And
you could add a 3-way or a 4-way wherever you want. Like if you wanted to open that roll-up door and come in there and have a switch there, you could. Yep. Don't even need this. In fact, like Matt was saying, you don't even need to have a switch plate. You could have everything hardwired with off a breaker to the lights, and then that's bad faux pas there. And then just use this to turn them on and off without even having a switch. So breaker's off, so let's do it.
What do you do with the ground? Nothing?
Just nut it, yeah, because these are ground. I'll just throw a nut on it just to be kosher. But there's no switch anymore, so it's grounded straight to the box, so the box is already grounded. It's just a pigtail.
It's always just dropping stuff on the floor.
I was trying
that I'm going to be following around
with a vacuum cleaner. That's I have to give you something to do. You have to have a win. I saw you vacuuming the other day. You looked happy.
I wasn't.
Yeah, you were vacuuming all the dust.
Sad inside.
So that just gets wired and nutted together and tucked into the box. Okay.
Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again. This goes in the trashola.
Someone's going to email me wanting that switch. You haven't taken the trash out. Can you send me that switch?
I remember the day you threw away your seat covers for this CR. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And people were, those are worth $500. You just, junk. Throw them away. All right, we need a pen. Do we have one in here?
Got a fancy fountain pen.
That'll work. So this gets mounted here. We want it.
The box does poke out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit. That's pretty good right there.
So if this box was centered on that thing, then you could just mount it in the center and call it.
And be done. You wouldn't need to, but I think because these are going to be out flapping in the wind, we're going to want to anchor it to the drywall. So these have to get mounted first, and then the cover plate goes on. So that's why I'm doing this. We'll lay this out, put some drywall anchors in there, and then these can get mounted on. And then, so I'm going to take these off of the cover plate now. I just did it to lay it out.
Hey, give me that screwdriver. I can do that. Give me something to do. Pretend like I had some contribution to this.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good thing. I'm giving you a win, Matt.
I don't need a win. I'm a freaking winner. Might strip out all the screws though.
I don't see that. You're loosening, so you shouldn't be able to strip them out.
Don't underestimate me.
That's why I'm not going to let you tighten. Just loosen.
And this little bro, it's like this. So you have to pull, you have to slide out. See, this little thing has to slide out. And then there's a little tongue here. And then this slides into the tongue, it sits flush. So then we take, let's make sure, yeah, this is the right one. So we're gonna go left to right. So this is the bank that's off right above us. And then it sits nice and flush like that.
It says 3/16, but that bit looks too big to me. Well, I guess not. Guess it is 3/16. Guess I shouldn't second guess them.
These screws aren't very tough, easily strippable, so
Easily.
don't jack them up, people. Just blame me.
Need 6 inch-pounds. Can you figure that with your wrist?
Oh yeah, it's perfectly calibrated. Oh gee whiz.
What happened? You put it upside down?
Yeah, freaking idiot. Can't be trusted, Mike. Can't be trusted to do anything.
This is just practice. That's all. Just showing. He's just trying to show you guys that
Practice
you do
for what? There's no game.
doing upside down.
There's no game to be
This is how
had.
you remedy that. You just take the screws back out, flip it over. Now you know in case you do an upside down.
It's like something doesn't look right here. Why are these numbers? these letters don't. I can't read them. I don't know why. There's something about these just looks so cool. Like it looks so pro.
No, they do. They look nice. They look clean. All right.
That's pro right there, dude.
That is pro. All right, we should have more of these. Should have,
Yeah, need one more pack.
yeah.
So use the silver screws for the box and the black screws for the anchors.
That's right.
You gotta be very specific with people. They're gonna have to watch a 45-minute video to get to that answer, but
Yeah. If you're not sure, just email Mad Obsessed Garage.
I'll forward it to support of Obsessed Garage. I won't even do that. Chris will do it. He will forward it to support. It's the little things that get me going, you know?
Yeah, the finishing touches, the
Yes.
details.
Well, it looks sophisticated, but simple. Just functional.
Simple sophistication.
Yeah.
Once the screw starts into the insert,
Expands out.
it expands and it grabs a drywall butt. So if we get it out here a bit and get it to go.
I'll be giving up, sort of drilling, cutting holes in the wall, re-drywall, and putting backer in there.
Sometimes you just have to finesse it a little bit, Matt.
Yeah. I'd get the Sawzall out. Like, all right, we're gonna take the door out. Start driving screws this way through the door jamb.
So I'm having to ad lib a little bit here. There's a metal box in here for the switch, and the flange of the box comes out beyond this screw, and it's the screws that came with it were a little too long, so I'm using a shorter screw. Now, the finishing touch. That's it. Why are these sticking out more, Maddie?
I don't know.
Did you take the? You didn't take the plastic piece off of the.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Something's up. I don't know what. We're gonna find out. It shouldn't be like that.
Well, you put it on there. I didn't know anything about that.
No. You were over there doing
Oh,
your
yeah,
little
that's
create.
what-
I figured you saw the sticker.
Remove cover plate
It's
for wall
fault.
surface
I
installation.
didn't quality control check.
Yep. That'll be why it pokes out. So this piece, what does it snap off?
Yes.
I don't want to take this one off because we might need it. Well, we need.
You only need one. Just like that. So this snaps in here.
I thought you were talking about the thing on this.
No.
This little guy.
No. Yeah, those have to come off, but this is for the flush mounting. Here, you can take that other one off.
And the little puppy comes off. Pretty clever. Let me sit back down. I don't want to injure myself.
Yeah. We're in full ketosis, low energy mode right now. Imagine how good like a Snickers would feel right now. What are you gonna do next?
If I do a nap, then I'm gonna be up till midnight.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow's gonna be even worse.
Yeah.
Maybe
need
I just
it.
go,
Yeah,
go lay on the microfiber towels for 20 minutes. I used to do that when no one was here. On the weekends, I'd go over, I'd lay out, the towels on the shelf there.
And
I'd get them all even, and I would just lay on the towels, take a nap.
Really?
Yeah. All these artist types would be so happy they don't have to walk across the garage to come turn the lights off now.
Yeah. Something's bugging
We're
me.
going to repeat the same process on that one.
Yep.
And then we'll show you what it all looks like at the end. I'll be sitting right here. So what we're doing here is I set the lights to we're probably down 10, maybe 15% from peak. This is where I would have more, this would be more for more comfortable use. When we're filming and stuff, we'll crank them all the way up. And so you hold this down for 10 seconds.
After you get your desired light level.
Yeah, so we hold down to get our desired dim level, and then I hold this down, and then that way I'll know I'll have a quick default where I can walk in and I can turn the lights on by just pressing the center button. So I'm programming all 3 zones twice. I don't know if we need to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. So I'm doing each pico.
So you'll watch, it'll flash when it knows.
I need to do this at my house.
There it is.
And that just tells you it's good. So now we're good. And so now if we come in, somebody turns the lights on, full bright.
They come down about
Mormon level.
20%.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder what happens when they're off.
It should just come on to that dim setting.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
That's where it's at. All right, people, this is it. These are the lights. These are going to be the lights if you have a 2-car garage, a 1-car garage, a 17-car garage. This is it. And then you just choose whether you want square or round fixtures. I think for most garages, I think round is going to be better because you want to paint the light as much as possible.
Yeah,
but
nice.
squares will look a little cooler depending on how you're going to hang them. Obviously, we suspended them here from the rafters, but normal garages you're going to surface mount, and then we'll figure out. Kyle on our design department will figure out as we work through what's the appropriate amount of fixtures per 2-3-car garage. We'll have all that stuff licked. We're going to build systems where you get your lighting control as well. So we have the Lutron packages as well to go with that. I don't know what these things cost. Actually, I was just yelling on the phone a second ago about what do these things cost, because I got 2 different prices from 2 different of my my contacts. Regardless, I think these are going to be very reasonably priced for what we're getting. The light in here is so much different than anything I've really ever experienced. This is it. This is what I've been chasing forever. So no real quirks with install, right? Pretty straightforward.
No. The only thing I thought I'd mention what we didn't talk about before when we were talking about wiring is you don't have to put the controller in if you don't want dimming. They can just run it like a normal fixture, apply 120 volts, use a switch, and they'll work just fine. They don't have to be dimmed.
How do you do that?
Well, you would just power up if you just take the 120 volt power supply that you have and wire it into the light fixture, and just cap off the dimmed wires. It'll just come on full bright. It won't. It doesn't
You have to connect the two together, or no?
No, you do not. You do not.
You just leave them disconnected.
If you apply 0 volts to the dimmer, it'll just be full bright. As you apply 10 volts, that's when it starts dimming. So if you apply nothing, they're just full bright.
Okay.
So you don't have to go that far if you don't want to.
So that's good. So we could skip. You know, when to keep costs down, you could skip it. I figured I would guess that like this garage with Lutron control and everything is retail probably somewhere around $6,000. But we have 18 8-foot fixtures, 4 4-foot fixtures, full 3 picos on each wall, so 6 picos,
plus 3
wall plates. 3 of those are $150 a piece, or $140 a piece, something like that. And then then we probably had another $1,000 worth of stuff you had to buy to do it. Yeah, so probably somewhere in the $6,000 to $7,000 range to do this garage, but this is a 1,600 square foot larger area, and we probably could have gotten away with one less
bank.
Yeah. And so to do a garage like this and to do it your place, probably $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, something like that. But we're gonna have all the pricing on the site once I figure it out, and then I'm gonna go deep with this. This is gonna be a fight to get inventory and get stock of this. For now, what we're doing, if you want to buy this today for your garage, we can figure it out for you and get you what you need. You just have to place the order and you just have to plan ahead. It'll be probably at least a couple of months before your lights show up. So that's the biggest issue, is I can't even place a stocking order because supply chain, most of the stuff is coming from China, assembled in the US, but it's coming from all over the place. The sophistication of this Lutron's hard to get as well too. So this is it though. I'm confident. This was a guess. We did the first try in my garage at my house of the troffers that I thought would be the fixture. That's not the one. No. This is it. Yeah. And then there's also a spec linear. There's a nicer enclosure version for some really cool garages. Like if you wanted to do like a rectangle where you did 45s and stuff, those are available. But those are at least 3 times, probably closer to 4 times the cost of these.
Wow. That's significant.
Yeah, so to do a garage like this with this many lights with spec linear would be
$20,000.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but in some applications it might make sense. Lighting is important.
It is.
And so right now they're set at like 20% dim. That's sort of my default setting. So I have some headroom if I wanted to, but most of the time I'll be walking around like this. The greatest part about this for all of you watching is that all of our videos are going to look fantastic.
Yeah, it's a very pleasant light. It's a pleasant space to be in now.
So what do you have to do this? Probably 30 hours of labor? Something like that? Maybe 25?
Maybe 24 hours, probably 3 days.
Yeah. So if you had a crew of electricians come out and do it, they'd probably do it in if they had 4 guys, they could do it a day.
Yeah, for
maybe
sure.
Day and a half.
Yeah. Yep.
And so whatever that hourly rate would be.
Obviously,
for those
depending
guys.
on what you've got existing, whether they have to run circuits and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah. So if you're building something, you'd pre-wire it and it'd be really easy. Really easy to do.
And that would keep costs down material-wise too, because that'd be already done. I had to buy wire, I had to buy MC, I had to buy connectors, all that kind of stuff. But if it was already pre-wired, you just plug and play.
All right, so hit us up. Best thing to do right now is to hit up design@obsessedgarage.com, and Kyle's learning really quickly. We're drinking from a fire hose here for this stuff, but if you don't want to wait and you've got something, a project, these are the lights you want, I'm telling you. I don't make that proclamation very often, but when I do,
I agree. I have to agree. They're great.
Yeah.
Great to install, great to work with, quality's there.
Yep.
They're nice.
All right, thanks for watching. Pricing coming. It'll be up on the site soon. I'm working on it. Yeah, it's going to be great.